Hello, and welcome to the Title Pending Podcast. My name is Willow, and I am your host this and every week. I hope everybody's having a great Pride Month. I know I am enjoying the many events in gay kingdom that have been occurring recently, such as some of my favorites, including Elijah Daniels buying Hell, Michigan, renaming it Gay Hell, and banning every single flag except for the rainbow. Love that for us, LGBTs. And something I actually did want to have a discussion about was Dan Howell. Now, let me preface this by saying Dan Howell is a significant part of my teenhood and adolescence. I was a weird kid. I was very hyper-fixated on emo culture and everything involving emo culture. My favorite band was Panic! At the Disco from age 12 to age 16, I want to say. And beyond that, I watched every single YouTuber that, ever mentioned Panic! At the Disco once. And two of the biggest examples in that case are Dan and Phil. They are my favorite British YouTubers, and they have been for a very long time. And they've always been a part of my entertainment growing up. So when this coming out video came out, and the title said basically I'm gay, my first response wasn't as though I expected it, because I didn't. I genuinely did not expect him to come out as gay at all. I thought that speculation was speculation, and I had no idea that he previously had mentioned that he is attracted to boys and etc. So, I guess I didn't follow them as closely as I thought I did. I was also young, so I didn't have, MySpace or anything like that. It's not like I could, go creeping that way. But, yeah, when he came out, obviously I cried. The video was 46 minutes long, but it was so well done, well put together. He's so well-spoken, and I admire him for that and his ability to, articulate how he feels so well. And I aspire to have the ability to do that or anything remotely close to that. But, I don't know, it made me happy that he finally feels comfortable enough after being on YouTube for as long as he has been, which is 10 years now, maybe? Almost? To know that it took him this long is also kind of heartbreaking, though, you know what I mean? You've been on this platform, you've been accepted by this platform for so long, and you still feel like you can't tell people this part of yourself. That's crazy to me. I grew up in a very different circumstance. I am very fortunate to have not had to come out, really. I identify, I guess, if labels are necessary, like as Dan said in his video, he's not one to completely label his sexuality specifically, and neither am I. And I say that because I've had multiple coming out experiences, and I just feel as though it's exhausting. Even after doing it once, you're just kind of you don't want to do it ever again. You don't want to talk about it ever again. And yeah, it's a part of your personality, but it's not your entire personality, you know what I mean? There's more to you than what you want to stick your dick in or get sticked in. Never mind. But I guess if labels are necessary and we are talking this way, I do identify, I guess, as bisexual. It's the label that probably fits my attraction most. And I was lucky enough to have, a support system from my parents and from my friends. And I grew up during a time very different to Dan in the way that, people were on their way to accepting it. Obviously we weren't as far as we are now. I'm 19 years old. It's not I have years upon years of wisdom and experience, but, excuse me. I don't have years of experience with, the earth and being on a planet for so long. I'm only 19. I'm not old. I will admit that. I am considered, I think, Gen Z even. But when I was a kid, gay wasn't something that, like, you know, came up in conversation. It was still pretty taboo. Like, even, like, I live in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is probably one of the most accepting and liberal states ever, regardless of what the subject is. We're very, very liberal. So I didn't really experience outward hatred as much as I did, like, casual homophobia and just comments like, oh, that's gay, or, like, stuff like that. And, you know, I would say it too. I'd be like, oh, that's gay, like, instead of saying that's lame. And we all know that that's wrong, thanks to Hillary Duff and her PSAs about that from, like, 2007. But, you know, I didn't really see myself as attracted to girls until... That's not true. That's absolutely not true. I was attracted to girls, but I thought it was normal. Quote, unquote. Normal being, like, everybody was. Like, everybody was attracted to girls, even other girls. Like, wanting to hold another girl's hand or kiss another girl was just something you experienced, right? Like, I thought everybody felt that way, and, like, everybody also liked boys. Like, I didn't have this sense of, no, you're supposed to like boys. Like, I never got that until I got to, like, maybe 4th or 5th grade. And people, you know, started using gay as an insult, and, you know, I finally learned what that actually meant. But I still didn't feel unsafe. Luckily enough, I was a very, excuse me, I'm a very outspoken person. I always have been. But even as a kid, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna say my piece, and if you don't like it, I don't care. And, you know, it's gotten me in some trouble. Especially when I was on the internet at the age of, like, 12, 13, just said my piece with no knowledge or research. Like kids do. Like, it's normal, but at the same time, you're opening up your entire world to something so abusive. And it's hard being on the internet as a kid, but that's a whole other subject that I can go into. But being gay is, like, someone these days is a lot less difficult than when Dan was going through it. Especially because, like, I've seen the difference between the way people are treated in this country versus even the UK. Like, they have such a weird stigma that we don't really have in that way. It's very strange. It's fascinating to me, the cultural differences between two similar places on the planet. Like, obviously America's much like the UK and much like Europe in general, but, like, dirtier and worse, I guess. But, you know, I don't want to get too into that political debate and mess because I'm uneducated and I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But overall, Pride Month has been crazy, like, just good. Overall, everything's great. The Taylor Swift song is something else. That's a topic for another podcast. That's not something I really feel like talking about right now. I listened to You Gotta Calm Down or whatever it's called, and, you know, I was never a fan of Taylor Swift after Teardrops on My Guitar. Like, that was her peak for me. And after that, I just kind of didn't care for her, regardless of, like, what she was doing. And it was never, like, any hatred for her. Like, I never despised her until it was cool to despise her. But I just was never a fan of her music. I was never a fan of the good girl. My favorite artist was Avril Lavigne, so, like, I guess that I was just turned off by that polar opposite, which is such a stupid thing to say, I'm not gonna lie, but, like, I was, like, 8, 9 years old when Taylor Swift was doing her thing and Avril Lavigne was doing hers, and I gravitated more towards Hayley Williams, which, like, yeah, also true, but, like, Avril Lavigne, Hayley Williams, girls who, like, wore black and were rockers and fucking, you know, it just, rebellion appealed to me, and I don't know why. I was never really a rebellious person. I mostly listened to my parents. You know, they never stifled my creativity, so I never really felt a reason to be rebellious, but I don't know. Maybe that's why I gravitated towards such weird shit, is because they just, you know, encouraged me to be a weirdo. And, you know, I really appreciate them for that. Like, I have my differences with my dad, but he definitely taught me that I could be whatever the fuck I want to be and, like, still get respect and appreciation for it. Like, I don't have to be someone, like, I don't want to say normal, because no one's normal, but you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to conform, and I never really felt uncomfortable being myself, and that's a privilege, in a way, I think. Please excuse my sister, she's, insane. I don't know if you heard her, because I don't have soundproofing or microphone abilities still, because we're, computer has shit the bed completely. But anyway, yeah, I was always able to be myself, regardless of what other people thought of me, and I did get bullied for it, but, like, I guess I got very used to being treated that way, and I guess saw it as, you know, just a part of being who I was, and I thought it was worth it. Which, honestly, it was, because if it hadn't been, I probably either wouldn't be here at all, or I'd be a very miserable version of myself. But right now, I am probably the most comfortable that I've ever been with myself, and that's fucking awesome. Because, like, I'm 19. I'm done, like, being an awkward shit. Like, I'm ready to be comfortable in myself. And yeah, I still have those, like, self-hatred days, like everybody fucking does. And it sucks, like, to look at yourself and be like, I want to change this, I don't want to look like this anymore, I wish I looked like that, and it sucks. It's miserable, and we all have them. And, like, then there's that deeper, more existential, like, no one's ever gonna love me, I'm miserable, I don't know why I'm always so sad, and then that's just the whole, like, depression thing that people my age go through. And it's all very normal, for sure, but doesn't mean it doesn't suck, you know what I mean? So, hence the outlet of talking to no one for an hour. Or the 60 people that viewed last week. If you're here again, thank you. I appreciate you. Feel free to tell your friends about this, by the way. It's not much, but maybe you know someone who likes talking about existential dread and pop culture at the same time. Because that's what I'm pretty into. I could make a whole podcast relating Paramore to depression, and it would work. And honestly, I probably will. Let me know if you want to see that in the comments below, or hear that, I guess, because my face is not a part of this yet. Which I don't know if I want to make it part of it. I don't know if I want to do a video setup. I mean, maybe eventually, and I definitely do want to continue making YouTube videos, but like I told you when I started doing this, time is money, and I have a lot of nothing. I have neither of those things. I don't have time, and I don't have money. I am, like I said, working full-time, and it's not an excuse, I promise you, but if I could do this full-time, that would be fucking sick. And, you know, we all start somewhere, and I start talking to my cell phone in my bedroom with no pants on. Thank you for your acceptance in advance for that. So I have a Tinder date tomorrow, and I'm a little nervous about that as well. It's with a boy during Pride Month. How sinful. But, you know, he seems wicked sweet, and I recently, like, got rejected by someone I was into at work, which is, like, totally fine, because we're still friends, but I got really drunk and told him that I had a crush on him, and he just said that he wasn't into anybody right now, which, like, valid, totally fine, but, like, you're cute, and I'm attracted to you, and you're my type, and whatever. So, like, obviously, that kind of sucks, but Tinder is coming in clutch, and this kid is wicked sweet, so, like, I'm hoping, I'm not getting my hopes up, but, like, I hope it just goes well, you know what I mean? Tinder's scary. But, you know, other than the lack of romance in my life, everything else has been going okay. How are you guys? Hope you're doing well. This is a very strange segue, because I know I wanted to talk about something else, besides Dan's video. I guess one other thing I really wanted to talk about was, Paramore, which, like, I knew was gonna happen anyway. I knew that was gonna be, like, a topic of conversation at some point in the podcast one day, but, like, second episode, that's Willow culture. That's Willow culture right there. That is me at my finest, and I am so sorry that, it's come to this. But, I I guess I wanted to talk about them because Haley's at Bonnaroo right now, or was at Bonnaroo, and Bonnaroo's over now, I don't know. But I just want to share the fact that I am so proud of her and so proud of Paramore for overcoming the obstacles that they've been through the past, like, literally their entire career as a band. But, you know, they're literally the best they've ever been right now. And I'm so, so proud of everyone. Taylor, Zach, Haley, like, just my favorite people in the world. And I'm so fucking just so happy. Paramore's been a part of my life for 10 years. Like, it's crazy to think that, like, you know, a group of people that, you know, you really don't know at all can mean so much to you. And I think that's wild. And I really just appreciate them as people and as musicians and just as creators in general. It's fucking insane. And I guess I also wanted to segue into, like, why it's not weird to, like, look up to these types of people. Because, like, I mean, there's always been a culture of, like, looking up to people that are famous and don't know you. And Bo Burnham covered this in his fucking comedy special, Make Happy, which, by the way, is genius, and I recommend you watch it on Netflix as soon as you finish listening to this. Such incredible content. He's so funny, and I have seen that special way too many times for a sane person, so... But, and that brings me back to that culture in general, but, like, looking up to people who found an audience and, like, who were able to create something and have people listen is so admirable and so wild to me. Like, it's so crazy to think that, like, people can get recognized for doing something that they love doing and, like, creating something that means a lot to them. And this is such a heavy subject and can go levels and levels deeper. But, like, looking up to a band can sound silly on, like, a surface level of, like, oh, they don't know who you are, they're never gonna know who you are, and, like, yeah, that's definitely true. I am not deluded into thinking I'm one day gonna be best friends with Hayley Williams, although that would be fucking insanely awesome. I know it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna, like, I'm not gonna make friends with Hayley Williams, especially considering the age difference, the distance, the just complete inability to contact someone who has an audience like that. It's creepy, it's weird, and you're not supposed to do that. So, I have settled for, you know, admiring her presence in the world at the same time that I'm on the planet. And it's nice to have someone to look at and be like, shit, she did this. Why the fuck can't I? And obviously, I'm doing it a different way. Or I'm trying to do it a different way. I can't sing. I don't have that range. I don't have that fucking talent or that gall to be a stage performer like that. But, you know, I feel as though she has been the reason that I want to say what I have to say. And it's awesome that I feel like I can and that I have somewhat of a platform and I'm trying to create, you know, an outlet for myself in a way that I feel is healthy and fun and, you know, could benefit me at some point in my life. So, to have this sort of, like, role model to look up to for so long is awesome for me, and I hope everyone has that. I don't care if it seems silly if you look up to a YouTuber or a musician or an actor even, like, I mean, as long as they're, like, not shitty people in general, which, like, there are a lot of those, too. There are a lot of people who do it for the money. There are a lot of people who don't give a shit about anybody who's helped them get where they are and, like, whatever. But overall, you can't really go wrong looking up to someone who is doing something you want to do. Like, you can base your practices off of them and learn from them and their mistakes and their success and, you know, do what you want to do. Hence why I have a microphone and you're listening to me. Although you might have clicked off by now, which is totally fine because I'm bullshitting at this point. And, like, there's a lot of stuff that I do have to say, and it probably deserves more planning and more thought than this current episode has been given. But I will get to those opinions, trust me. I have a lot of them, and I am very outspoken about enough things that I feel the need to share them with the internet and hopefully not get attacked for them. But if I do, I probably deserve it. Maybe I don't, but we don't know. We won't know until I speak them, but we're not there yet. But that's pretty much the podcast. I know it's not very long this week, but those are the two main things I really wanted to touch on was, like, Pride Month and Dan being literally the best way to come out and just the most sincere YouTuber on this platform. Besides maybe, like, Jenna Marbles, who is fucking fantastic, by the way. And then also just talking about Hailey and Paramore and just how much they mean to me, but, like, that's probably going to be mentioned every single week. So I appreciate you guys listening to my ramblings, once again. You guys really do mean, you guys do mean the world to me. And here are the patrons for this week. Haley Park, IDK LOLZ, Willow's Mom, Taylor Marshall, Caitlin St. Louis, Sophia, Tina, Shelby Church, Emily Buchanan, Amanda Satterfield, Kat, Holly Rapkin, Mary Cabral, Molly, and Gina. Thank you all so much for your everlasting support of me. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you guys so much for what you guys have done so far. It makes me so happy. You guys are really helping me out. Have a good night, guys.